In this video, I will show you how you can update one or multiple rows in a Google Sheet with n8n. So now our workflow is running and rows are being updated. So let's see how we can implement this. I have structured this workshop into 3 points. First of all, we're going to create an example Google Sheet with some example data. Then we're going to iterate through the rows, and then we're going to update each row with an LLM. In Google Sheets, please click on the plus here. And let's assume that we are a dental practice and that we get all kinds of requests. And let's start our first column with first name, then last name, then request, and then priority. And priority is the column that our AI will fill out for us. Okay? I'm going to expand this column a little bit here. And let's say that Sandra Miller has a toothache. Okay. Then we have Carl Bishop and he needs teeth whitening. Okay. Then we have Steven Jackson and he broke one of his teeth. And our last request comes from Michael Clayton. Oops. And he would like to know more about our prices. Okay, so now our example data is ready. In your n8n dashboard, please click on Create Workflow. And let's start this workflow with a manual trigger. And then we are going to, first of all, read all of those lines. Okay, so let's click on the plus here and let's search for Sheets. Then we're going to see Google Sheets. And then we're going to click on Get Rows in Sheet. Okay. And right here, I have already set up my Google Sheets OAuth2 credentials. If you don't have them yet, just click here and then sign in with your Google account that is associated with your Google Sheets. Okay. Then next, click here on Resource and check select Sheet within Document. Then select Get Rows and then select the latest document that you have created. In my case, it's Untitled Spreadsheet up here. And then you simply select this sheet number 1 and then you click on Execute Step. And now you should see in the output section the exact same values that we have just created here as example data. Let's close this window. And the idea is now that we loop over all the rows, over all the items. And then for each row, for each single row, we let the AI update it. Okay. So for doing so, click on the plus here and search for loop. We're going to take this loop over items node right here, and we see that on the left side, on the input section, we see our data, first name, last name request, and the empty priority. And then we also see this row number that we're gonna deal with later. Okay, so let's close this window here and zoom out a little bit. And here, instead of this replace me node, we're gonna insert a set node. So let's also delete this node here, and let's click on the plus and let's search for the edit node. Edit fields. And now we're gonna execute the previous nodes here in order to get some example data. And let's just say that we want to print out the first name just so that we have our little quick win, so that we see that the looping actually works. Okay, so let's say first name, and here we're gonna drag and drop the first name. Okay. Oops, this didn't work. So now it works. Gonna close this window now. And now I'm gonna move this outgoing connection as a new inbound connection to the loop over items node. Okay, so let's have a try. I'm gonna click on execute workflow now, and let's see what happens. Okay, so now when we have a look at the log section here, we see that for the first edit fields output, the first name was Sandra, which is the first row here that we have defined. And then the next edit fields is Carl and Stephen and Michael. So our first little try worked. Now let's remove this connection here and make some room here, because now we want to add the LLM chain. Because for this task, we don't need an AI agent. Actually, we just need one prompt that classifies or that estimates the priority of the request. So I'm going to click here on define below. And now I'm going to define the prompt. I'm going to say, what is your task? You are an assistant in a dental clinic. Prioritize the request of, or let's just say prioritize the request. I think that's enough. Gonna expand the window a little bit. And now I'm gonna define the rules. I'm gonna say return either low, medium, or severe. Nothing else, no explanation, okay? And then last, I'm gonna paste the actual request. So now I'm gonna drag and drop the request from the input side into the text box right here. And I think that's fine. And now I also need to specify the model here by clicking on Add Model. And in my case, I'm gonna use OpenAI. And here I already have set up the credentials. If you haven't done so, click here on Create New Credential, and then you need to paste your API key from OpenAI. Okay, so I'm going to close this chat model here, and I'm gonna execute a test run. And now the model says that I have a toothache is of medium priority. Now that we have our priority, we can update the row. So let's click on the plus here and let's search for Sheets, Google Sheets. And then right here at the bottom, let's click on Update Row in Sheet. And then we need to define our credentials. Our resource is a sheet within document. The operation is update row. And now we need to again take or select our spreadsheet. Then select the sheet inside of the spreadsheet. And right below here, we say that we want the column to match on the row number. Okay, the row number identifies the row. Okay, it's an internal index coming from Google Sheet. So this value here right now is hard-coded, but we want the row number to be dynamic. So we can delete this and we can drag and drop the row number from the loop over items node. So let's drag and drop this here. And let's say that the first name, the last name, and the request doesn't need any update, but the priority needs an update, and we're gonna update it using the text coming from the basic LLM chain. Okay, so let's drag and drop this here. And let's have a look. I'm gonna click here on execute a step. And now when we check our spreadsheet, the first row has been updated successfully. Now let's go back to n8n. Let's close this window here. And now we can also delete this edit fields node. And now let's tidy up a little bit. And let's connect this outgoing connection to the input node of the loop over items node. And let's save the workflow and execute it. And now we see the Google Sheet is updated in real time.